Hey, this is Coach Linda, and I'm back. I'm re recording day 86, the Fear Cycle Part 1. And I just figured since I'm here, I might as well just do them back to back. So you're going to get Part 1 and Part 2 today. And then tomorrow, I'll do my normal 100 Days of Purpose. And then I will be doing day 88 and 89. And then that will catch us up because those are the days that there was no sound. For some reason, my mic was turned off or turned low. And so I thought it was recording me and it wasn't. Hopefully, you can hear me now. And we are going to go ahead and get this party started. Let me put my little ticker on so you guys know. And if you want to leave comments, that's where you go to leave comments while we are recording. So if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you can definitely go there and I will be able to then see your comments. And just let you know that I am using my computer also because it has my little outline. So if I don't see your comment right away, know that when I come back in, I will take a look. All right. So we're going to talk about the fear cycle. And there is a saying by Rabbi Levi Brockman, and it says to start something new, you have to leave something behind. There is a fear of unknown. The first step is to overcome your fear. And we have to understand that. We have to understand that fear happens. And unfortunately, there's good fear and there's bad fear, right? The good fear is what we call the fear that causes and motivates us to move and to preserve ourselves. So in the psychological world, it's called the fight or flight, right? So we are either going to fight for our lives or we're going to take flight for our lives. And there's no right or wrong there. I mean, either you have to determine within yourself if it's something to fight for or against, or if it's something to flee from, because your survival is important. And fear shows up in a cycle. That's why we're talking about the fear cycle today. And when it shows up, it causes inaction. It causes us to be inactive. It causes us to be stagnant. It causes us to be stuck in the mud. We get stuck in a rut. We get on the hamster wheel and we don't know how to get off. And basically what fear is that we are afraid of what might happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but we start to fear what could happen. And most times our fears are unmerited, right? They don't come true. We do something and, we're like, man, why was I afraid to do that? On the other hand, if we don't take action, inaction fuels our fear, right? It enables our fear. It increases our fear. It grows our fear. And fear then takes control of us. So let me put it this way. Because we don't try something new, because we don't move forward, because we don't make the decision in the moment to take advantage of an opportunity that is handed to us or given to us or presented to us, we continue to be afraid and we continue to remain in our comfort zone because we're afraid of what's unknown to us, because we're afraid of taking that step forward because we don't know what might happen. So a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of the dark. They're afraid of spiders. They're afraid of snakes. They're afraid of, going outside. They're afraid of the dark, whatever the fear may be. So let's use those as an example. So let's say someone is afraid of being rejected, and they're around these people that they admire, people that they want to impress, right? And let's say they're not with just one or two people, right? They're with 25, 30, 40 people. Let's get wild and say 100 people are in the room. And you're afraid to be rejected because you respect and honor these people that you're in the room with, and you're humbled to be in the room with them. But you know that you have something to share that they may want to hear. And you are given the opportunity by an individual to say, "Hey, look, we want to hear your thoughts. Come on up and tell us what you've been working on, or tell us what you're doing, or tell us how we can benefit from listening to you, and you got 10 minutes, or you got 15 minutes." And in that moment, fear grips your heart, and your mind starts going, what if they don't like what I say? What if I can't speak as eloquent as I would like to? Wonder if I stumble over my words. I wasn't prepared for this. And you start talking. And because of this fear, you avoid going on that stage. You avoid standing up and voicing your thoughts. You're like, you know what? It's okay. If anyone has any questions, come see me, right? You take that way out. And let's not even say the fear of rejection. Let's say that was greater than the fear of public speaking, because you spoke, right? Hey, just come see me. You were able to do that. So you're not afraid to get up and speak in front of the people, although a lot of people are. Your fear is that they will not receive you, and they will reject you, and they will discard you, or they'll laugh at you, or they'll be busy doing something. I've gone to places where they've asked me to preach or asked me to do something, and I went up and people didn't know who I was from Adam, and they were a little bit disrespectful to me. They weren't paying attention. I was talking. They was talking to the person sitting next to them, this, that, and the other. But I still shared what I had to say. And someone in that room heard me, right? Because they came up and they're like, "Hey, look, Linda, I heard what you said, and I want to know more. I want to do this. I want to," and they came and they asked questions. And so I wouldn't have never made that one connection had I not taken advantage of that situation. But many of us will let that situation pass us because we're afraid of being rejected. We're afraid of not being received, or we're afraid of public speaking. And because you didn't take advantage of that opportunity, now every time you're put in that same situation, you tend to talk yourself out of it, because that fear has now grown. That fear of not being accepted, that fear of not being rejected, that fear of not being included, not of being laughed at, that fear of not doing well has grown. And so the next time it's going to be even harder to get up on that stage or take advantage of that opportunity. Eckhart Tolle said, "Whatever you fight, you strengthen, and what you resist persists." What does that mean? It means the more we avoid the fear of whatever it is, the more we try to maneuver ourselves away from it and protect ourselves from it, the stronger that fear becomes. And you get into what I call the what if scenarios. And you start spiraling. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? What if this happens? Then this might happen. Then this might happen. Then what if this happens? Then this might happen. Then this might happen. And what if that happens? And this might happen. And you start attaching all of these things. And by the end of everything, you're spiraling into this web of negativity that you can't get out of. And the more you move around, if you've ever gotten a spider web on you, the more you try to move around and get it off, it just starts sticking. It's just sticking, right? That's what you have put yourself into. Quicksand. If you get into quicksand, I'm told the more you move, the quicker you go down, right? You're going down slowly, but the more you move, it begins to allow you to move more, and you can't get out. So the struggle isn't getting you out. The struggle is putting you in deeper. So let me see how am I doing on time? Okay, we're good. So you get into these what if scenarios, and you're in this spider web and you can't get out. And you keep moving, and the more you move and try to do, like I said, the more you try to avoid it, the stronger it becomes. And that is going to add to your inability to overcome that fear. And so now you have opened your world up to never taking advantage of those situations because you continue to fear. And now the fear has paralyzed you and crippled you. You've got to learn how to overcome these what if scenarios and understand the only way that you can get out of it. Because we'll talk about this a little bit. We're going to talk about on day 89, I talked about the cure of fear. And so we're going to keep that on, in tomorrow when I do day 88 and 89 again, I'm going to talk about the cure of fear. Because we've got to understand that fear can be cured. We're also going to talk about the truth. We got the fear cycle, and then we have the fear versus the truth, right? So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how comparing ourselves to others kills our confidence, which then fuels our fear. So we're going to talk about all of these because they're all a part of this fear cycle. And they're all a part of us understanding what fear really is, because it's false evidence appearing real, but we've got to know where that false evidence comes from. Because at the end of the day, the greatest fear that we all have is the fear of failure. That's why we're afraid to speak in public. That's why we're afraid to be rejected. That's why we're afraid to fall in love. That's why we're afraid to do something new. Because we don't want to fail. We don't want to look like a loser. And I know someone will say, oh, Linda, you're not supposed to call people losers. I didn't call people losers. But I'm saying to ourselves, that's what we say to ourselves when we allow fear to hinder us, block us, and stop us from moving forward. We are saying that we are failures. We're saying that we are losers and we don't have the intellect to get ourselves out, and we do. So we have got to understand what it is that we're doing, and we've got to understand why it is that we're doing it. Because if we don't get that, and tomorrow I'm going to go into some stages of the cycle of fear, right? I'm going to talk about the stages of it. But today I wanted you to recognize that fear has a cycle and how that cycle plays in our lives. Because sometimes we can cause the very thing that we fear to come upon us because we've spiraled into its territory. And our words and our thoughts and our actions have creative power. And they can create scenarios you didn't intend to have to live out. And so we've got to understand that our problem is we fear success or failure. But that fear really isn't actual failing, right? It's not us actually failing. Because as Denzel Washington says, if you're going to fall, fall forward. If you're going to fail, fail forward. So there should be some lessons learned. And if a child that's trying to learn how to walk doesn't get up and try to walk and fall down, it'll never walk. Right? There are certain things that if you never take the initiative to get involved and do something, you'll never know the thrill and the joy and the exhilaration that comes from overcoming that thing. So failure is not the problem, because you fail, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you keep it moving. You learn the lesson. It's not being willing to learn the lesson that's the problem. It's that insanity that is attributed to Einstein, talking about insanity is hoping for different results, but doing the same thing over and over again, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Because you don't want to try something new because you're afraid of failure, but that's not what you're afraid of. You're afraid of learning that lesson. I'm Coach Linda. I said it, I ain't taking it back. This is 100 Days of Purpose. This is the re-record of day 86, The Cycle of Fear, Part 1. Day 87 will be coming momentarily, and it is The Cycle of Fear, Part 2. Okay? And again, I don't know all that I said on the first ones, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and this is what y'all going to get, and it's all going to be good, because if you allow it to, it will help you. But you got to be willing, okay? You got to be willing to overcome that fear, feel the fear, and do it anyway. And I know you'll be better for it. I'm Coach Linda. You be blessed, be encouraged. Remember, only those that can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. So I dare you, double dog dare you, to be exactly who you were created, designed, and made to be. You have a lovely day. I'm Coach Linda, and I'm out.